SES is at the core of the piracy of the operations of U.S. government, my opinion. SES was created by an executive order from Carter, and you can't get to the truth of it anywhere you try to determine what's going on over at SES. You're running stuff with the inspector generals. Well, the two agencies that are tag teaming us to get to the truth or to block us from getting the truth in a lot of these matters, especially election matters, is arguably SES. And even the activities related to J6, the people that were there on the ground involved in various activities, monitoring or provocating activities, I think there's a strong likelihood that as we get through the investigations in the years to come, we'll find that many of those players were being managed and operated out of SES. And the money is money that went in this black budget to SES. Who are they answering to? And you're going to find a globalista connection there also. They're in the club. And this is what the real fight is. The real war is for America. And the reason that you're going to have to throw a bunch of them into Gitmo, and then we'll learn quite a few truths that'll take us further back up the sock puppet chain, even beyond the nation state level to the globalista level. That's where this is all going.
Let's just move forward. Okay, this is a big one. Ghost last night kind of talked about it on the show, but restoring accountability for career senior executives. This is Trump's way of basically getting rid of the entire deep state, and I cannot wait for this one. SES officials have enormous influence over the functioning of the federal government and thus the well-being of hundreds of millions of Americans. The president's power to remove subordinates is a core part of the executive power vested by Article 2 of the Constitution, and it's necessary for the president to perform his duty to take care that the laws be faithfully executed. Because SES officials wield significant government authority, they must serve at the pleasure of the president. One thing I like about this section, part right here, take care that the laws be faithfully executed, is we had that immunity ruling from the Supreme Court over, the Jack Smith cases. We got an immunity ruling from the Supreme Court. But if we get any challenges, or if Trump gets any challenges in court based on him firing and his approach to the senior executive service, I don't think they have any chance of defeating Trump's interpretation of this, especially the way this law is written, because it is his job to make sure that the laws are faithfully executed. And if you have a bunch of career bureaucrats in there that are stonewalling and working against your agenda and against the American people, the president should have the ability to fire anybody he wants. There should be no permanent positions in government on taxpayer dollars. Sorry. Only the chain of responsibility ensures that SES officials are properly accountable to the president and the American people. If career SES officials fail to faithfully fulfill their duties to advance the needs, policies, and goals of the United States, the president must be able to rectify the situation and ensure that the entire executive branch faithfully executes the law. For instance, SES officials who engage in unauthorized disclosure of executive branch deliberations violate the constitutional rights of Americans, refuse to implement policy priorities, or perform their duties inefficiently or negligently should be held accountable. I love this too, because this is the anonymous sources that we get from the media. People who disclose executive branch deliberations. So two people familiar with the matter say Trump is going to be, have this huge investment from OpenAI and all these things or whatever. This is saying those who engage in that behavior should be fired. And I totally agree with that. Like, what happens to the media, the mainstream media, when they lose the ability to write stories like that? They're going to be on the same level as us. Nobody has sources. We get the news when it comes out and interpret it as we must. Like, really, the only reason that the mainstream media is relevant is they have people, whether they're paid or whatever, who give them the news or leak to them news stories that we don't have those connections, at least especially not us at Badlands Media. Without that, they're kind of just dead. Like they're no different than us, except they're way more retarded. Talking about leveling the playing field, I think it'd be great. My administration will restore a government of the people, by the people, for the people. As he said way back in 2016, he's giving the government back to the American people. Each agency head shall, as necessary and appropriate and consistent with the procedural requirements of Section 3395 of Title V, United States Code, reassign agency SES members to ensure their knowledge, skills, abilities, and mission assignments are optimally aligned to implement my agenda. And that's part of the code. They're able to reassign people within the same agency wherever they see fit. And so I don't know if Trump is also requiring people to come back to the office to work, which I think they're going to get a lot of people who are going to quit just based on that. There might be people who quit based on political reasons, whatever. There might be people attempting to stay there to try to stonewall Trump. I mean, we know that's happening. But so he's forcing them to come to the office. Once they're in the office, if they're witnessing people who are working against Trump's agenda, they can reassign them to bathroom duty. Maybe, I don't know. Any agency head who becomes aware of an SES official whose performance or continued occupancy of the position is inconsistent with either of the principles reaffirmed in this order or their duty to the nation under Section 3131 of Title V, United States Code, shall immediately take all appropriate actions up to and including removal of that official. Restoring an accountable government workforce is a top priority of my administration.